being uncomfortable. That's always the goal. If I'm in a room and I'm comfortable, then I shouldn't be in that room. I should set myself up for opportunities of learning, because there's so much, especially in real estate, there's so much to learn.
Every now and then I get a little lucky and I get to talk to one of my friends who's absolutely killing it in the space. I'm watching them grow. Today I'm here with my friend Neal. This is the Utah Business Spotlight. I'm Peter Anthony, your host. I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, and I need you to share, because we're telling stories today about businesses that are killing it in Utah and about entrepreneurs who are going for it. Well, today I'm sitting with an entrepreneur who's going for it. She's killed it in the past. She's going to take it to the next level. Angel, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. I've been following your career for about 3 or 4 years. I love, you've transitioned from the beauty industry. You became a real estate investor. You've flipped houses. You've rented homes. Now you're transitioning into commercial. I want to hear your story from your perspective, and with you're young, you're young, you're beautiful, you're on fire, Share with me, what are you doing now? I know you've exited from your last group of companies, right? And every time we talk to realtors, a sale is an exit. So when you sell a property, it's an exit, right? So you're preparing yourself to go on this next journey. But let's get the backstory. How did you get to your first journey? How did you become involved in real estate as an investor?
Yeah, so with real estate, me and my father used to take Monopoly very serious. There would be 3-day different tournaments. And so I think that has always just been in the back of my mind. I have always been intrigued with business and just buying and selling and flipping just small items. And so going into the beauty industry, I loved making people feel amazing. And I'm sure you can relate being
Absolutely
in the hair. And so when I got into that, it was just kind of a filler moment. And then I was renting from a space, and it took me about a year to convince her to sign over the Salon suites. But once I locked it in, it taught me so many things about tenant rep. I learned lease contracts. I got familiar with.
So you went from being a renter of a singular space, running your own, I call them micro businesses.
Yep.
So you're running a micro business inside a group of suites to owning all the operation of all the suites.
Yes.
Oh man,
Yes.
That's gangster.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's been a journey for sure. And so setting or being in that field and just dealing with tenants and how their businesses run and being a mentor in that state, it really set me up for that retail space in commercial real estate. So I had got a part of a group, an investor group, that taught me everything that I needed to know as far as underwriting a big plaza. Because prior, when I owning the Salon suites, I was getting all the data just from the building as a whole, just out of genuine curiosity. So now that I joined that group, I was able to incorporate that. And now I incorporated the agent side of things to where it benefits my clients because I have that genuine interest of the investor side of things.
Yeah. And I think that's cool what you did with the, so here's what I love about the journey and why you can do it too, is because when you have a passion, that passion shouldn't be the end result. That passion should be the first step in the journey of passion.
Yes.
And so when I left university to study cosmetology and then opened my first salon, right? I went from, okay, cool, I own an entertainment company, I owned a DJ company, and I was working my way through college. the cool element was I was passionate about art, right? I was passionate about music. I was passionate about how music was marketed. I was passionate about the end result, the album covers, the internal components of it, and how to develop the look of an artist, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized that, whoa, hold on a second, we're all artistic. We all have this look that we want to develop. So then I was the look of the human being. And then I was like, hold on a second, man, this space isn't set up conducively to how I need to run through that experience. So I'm like, well, then I should just own the space. And then
Yeah.
I went from, okay, cool. Well, I should just own more spaces. And then I
Yeah.
owned, I went from, working as a stylist to managing a group to being an artistic director of a Fortune 50 company, and then building out one space after the other after the other. And I'd never seen somebody do it so young as I was in my early 20s when I started. And then
Yeah.
I came across you, and you were younger when you started. I was like, this is amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. But was your transition the same? Was it like as you started to do one thing, you saw a bigger picture?
Of course. Always. Always. There's in every aspect of business or just growth in general, there's always opportunities. You just have to find them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And I think you have to be hungry for them.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, I was thinking today, the milestone in the 1980s when I was behind the chair was, can you do $1,000 a day in service? And then I think by 89, I was doing just under $2,000 a day in service and about 1,500 in retail sales by myself. So I had a $3,500 a day chair.
Yeah.
3,000. I had days that were in the threes, but in the high twos to 3,000
And back
consistently.
then too.
Back then. So
That's
I was
massive.
bringing in 15 grand a week by myself.
Yeah.
By myself. 15 grand a week in the 80s. That's probably worth, I don't know, 3 times today.
It's crushing it.
Yeah, crushing it.
Yeah.
And that led me to wanting to buy my business. Then that led me to wanting to buy buildings, which then led me to being very interested. So we started flipping homes, which led me to flipping homes, which is very similar to your journey.
Yeah.
So I started investing in properties in the 90s because I had so much experience. I was gathering data and information from my client list.
Yeah.
I'm just there saying, "Oh yeah, we're thinking of buying over here," and I was like, "Really? Where's over here?" And then I go over there.
Yeah.
Is your journey similar?
Well, and where there's a need, you naturally want to just fill the need because
Yeah.
it makes sense. And so,
And so
yeah.
many of my clients were getting married. I was like, I bet I can sell them a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and two, the power of environment is massive because if you're in that space, you're attracting other people who are doing the same things. And so it causes you to think bigger. And so the power of environment, just being in the rooms where people are growing, will grow you.
Yeah. And you're a very big proponent of environment.
Very.
I've watched you pull yourself out of an environment and put yourself in what, for most people your age, especially when you were younger even, would be so uncomfortable with
Yes.
guys, with dudes in their 50s and 60s, but
Yeah.
these are super successful people, and you just pushed to make sure you were in that environment with them.
Yeah.
And just really just were like sponging their information.
Yes.
You were
Yeah.
awesome at it. I love it.
Well, and being uncomfortable, that's always the goal. If I'm in a room and I'm comfortable, then I shouldn't be in that room. I should set myself up for opportunities of learning because there's so much, especially in real estate, there's so much to learn.
So much to learn, especially here in Utah, because Utah's been an interesting space over the last 30 years. When we came here in the mid 90s, probably.
Yeah.
It was, none of the valley existed. It was
Yeah.
about 80% of it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then it's just
Growing
so
fast.
you could have, anything you've purchased here has gone up. So you have a lot of what I call in New York, we say big hat, no cattle, even though we're New Yorkers, right? A lot of people in the system were just rewarded because it was the right time, the right place. Didn't matter what you did, you were going to succeed.
Yeah.
Now that that's teetered down, success has to be more intentional. I'm watching you be intentional.
Intentional is everything. It is.
So what do you
It
have your eye
is.
on? What should other people be looking at if they're breaking into the commercial space? What do you have your eye on?
As far as with the commercial space, right now, I have my eye on AI because you can do so many things. So, just incorporating a customized AI platform to where I have my personal assistant that can draft up my contracts, that can do all the legwork for me so that I'm able to put myself into rooms and get my brand out that way. Because AI obviously can't do that unless you're a clone, but
Yeah, AI is not experiential. It's transactional.
yeah,
So it can monitor and it can follow transactions, but it can't create a transaction yet.
yeah,
For me, I'm a very big we are networked. I met you through networking. I've met
yes,
everybody I've ever done, and that builds brand equity, especially with longevity. And then what we use AI for is to subsidize, to elongate the experience. So when the incubator, my marketing company, puts together these really cool virtual assistants, right?
mm-hmm.
So that's the outreach and the incoming. So I have somebody manning my phones 24/7, 365 that is
Yeah,
designed around my personality. So when you call up,
right.
the incubator and it's like, Valerie, my assistant, say, "Hi, my name is Valerie. I'm Peter Anthony's sexy AI assistant. Don't tell anybody, but I'm actually the brains of the operation.
Yep,
But Peter has a really big ego, and I don't want to hurt his feelings, right?"
that's
And we've
awesome.
incorporated so much humor into AI, into the programming of those components, which I really love because I want them to know that it's AI.
Yeah,
I don't want people to mistake that I'm trying to fake a
yes,
real experience for a virtual experience. What I'm
yeah,
trying to do is increase your experience with me by making you laugh. And I couldn't make you laugh in person. So I'm hoping
yeah,
that my AI is funny enough, right?
yeah.
And we've incorporated all kinds of little stories
And
into
just
that.
incorporating that in the journey because AI can be such a beautiful thing. It's just finding those loopholes to utilize that with the public.
hmm And what do you think that the major pieces of commercial real estate, where do you see them going? Are they going to, is the next thing hair salons? Is the next thing nail salons? Is it med spas? What do you think is the I'm going to say acquirable pieces of commercial that you might be looking at? Where do you think people are going to gravitate towards? I see some really boutique things like we've done a lot with shoe repair, right? I see that as becoming the bespoke. So I'm going to call it the craftsmen are looking for places to hang their shingles again, because those are the non-replaceable things where they can do things. Are you seeing that in the commercial space, or am I completely off?
Well, the commercial space is pretty broad, so every asset class would be different. Like there's different multifamily sectors that are very much so expanding. Like Austin, Texas is really expanding with apartments and all that stuff. As far as the retail space goes, I see a lot of business owners that are being way more intentional with how it's interacting with the public. Retail kind of had a downfall a couple of years ago, but now it's on the rise, and we're just creating more community environments.
So I love that word, like community environments you see as
Yes,
being a raise, and that
yes,
would facilitate apartments, because an apartment
right,
complex is a
right.
community environment. And even what I'm watching my friends develop, because some of my friends are the larger developers here in Utah, you're seeing that downstairs little retail boutique with the upstairs living, so that
Yes,
the co-working spaces are up on the rise, like the WeWorks and the Kilns.
yes, yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of that in that. Um, how are you in? I think you've already answered this question. What's the number one reason someone's going to pick up the phone or dive into social media to work with you? Like, why do you love working with people, and why do people love working with you?
Yeah, I Obviously, I can't speak for my clients, but I would say honesty, and a huge aspect that is a massive leverage for my business is time is of essence. And so just working with a couple clients so that I can hone in on all their needs and right away. I think in the beginning, would just say yes to everything so I can get it full, but it really jeopardized the business because saying no to hopes and dreams, although it's so fun, but saying no to, just being in that vision state rather than working with people who are looking at properties already on their own and in that mental state. So that's where I'm putting my focus on. I also create such a fun environment because like the commercial real estate realm or real estate in general can be very stressful. And so making it a fun environment because we're in a growth mindset. We are expanding their business. It's fun. It should be fun, you know? So also with my investor background, I have a genuine interest for all the projects that I'm involved in. So I do a lot more than realtors normally do because I have that genuine interest.
I love that. So if I wanted to buy or invest in a fourplex or a small apartment building, would I be coming to you to find that space for me?
Yes.
So,
I do specialize in retail, but I also am on a broad spectrum because I'm in the rooms with multiple different investors that are in all aspects. So that's what the investor program that I was in before kind of benefited my future endeavors for all aspects, really.
I love that. So if I'm looking to expand my holdings and invest in apartments, multifamily units, then I'm going to call you. Are you able? How is the Utah market for multifamily units? Are they available?
Multifamily is a tougher market. Utah is there's a
It's a
lot
little
of
saturated.
development happening, and a lot of the elders in my life just hate that aspect. But there's so much opportunity with it, and so the platforms that I use, I'm able to access all that market data, which would be nice. And then we set up tours and just go check them out. But also, I've seen a lot of hotels that are being transitioned or office spaces that are being transitioned into multifamily. So there's tons of opportunities.
It's interesting, right? Because I see old schools transitioning into multifamily, which I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
I'm super interested in local Main Street businesses being converted back into really cool spaces. So I'd love to. I look around the country at main streets that have lost their value.
Yes.
And I want to purchase buildings that we can incubate and bring different types of commercial.
Yeah. And that's where the creative juices come in, you know, and you just start thinking. And that's why real estate is such a broad spectrum to learn from because if there's a will, there's a way. And so it's just making it happen.
Yep. And if there's a building, there's a spot to make money, man.
There is a spot to make money. Yes.
You know, like I love, we love downtown Lehigh. We're really hot on downtown Lehigh with those really cool little boutique spaces. Some of the buildings are still affordable, you know, under $600,000-$700,000, and you can turn them into work live, which I also am super hot on, which I think is a big circle. My first salon was in a main street where I owned, and then it was a work live. I lived above, you know, a 2,500 square foot salon. Okay. So it was super cool for us.
Right. I remember that story you told me.
And so it was super cool that I could live and then just come down and work and still be part of it. And the reemergence of that community that I was very much a part of from 1989 all the way up until, you know, the mid 2000s. Was super cool, you know.
And convenience too. Everyone wants convenience.
But it brings traffic. So I think there's going to be, there's going to be a reemergence of main streets, but in a new and redesigned
improved,
way.
yes.
You know, where, and then that's where you'll see the craftsmen and the artisans start to put up, and they'll, you know, they'll reestablish themselves because, you know, the malls reestablish themselves, and that's cool. You know, you have now anybody can go to Lululemon and buy the same stuff that every Lululemon in the world sells, or every Louis, you know, I happen to like Louis Vuitton, so I'm not, but you know, you can buy designer things all over the world, the same things, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. So I like that the craftsmen are going to come back, and I think they're going to come back to affordable work live spaces.
And I'm seeing way more intentional as on the agent side of things. We're becoming way more intentional with who our tenants are. And so I'm working with this plaza. There's about 300 retail spaces in there. And I have a Hispanic restaurant that's coming in, and they give us our word with, you guys are going to be the only Hispanic authentic restaurant in this entire plaza. And so creating, it's a whole new vision, honestly, that I'm seeing, and just that intention is amazing. You know,
I love intention. Well, thank you so much, man. You are a plethora of information.
Yes.
Where is the plaza in Utah that you're working with?
Yes, they are.
Right on. Well, we can't wait to hear more about it.
Yes.
We got to get all those businesses on the business spotlight
we
can just move them forward, man. We got to blow air into the sails. We are the wind beneath your wings. This is Utah Business Spotlight. I'm with Angel Neal. Look her up, find out what she's doing, shadow her. If you're a young person, you want to learn a lot, shadow her. If you're an old dude like me, shadow her. She'll make you look better. This is Utah Business Spotlight. I'm with my friend Angel Neal. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.